Okay, my name is Kyle Corley. I'm nursing manager for interventional radiology, and I have been here for coming up on 15 years. Just trying to, if you shake too much, then I'm going to start having stupid answers. Last year, around June, my daughter was diagnosed with a very serious genetic illness, and I had to take some time off work, so I was off work probably 6 months. During that time, they did a fundraiser for my family and I, just because I wasn't working and my wife wasn't working. And they raised a phenomenal amount of money in that time. Then they did a PTO drive, and they donated to me 700 hours of PTO. So there was no way that I could ever repay that or say how much I appreciated that, but it was truly a family, the whole hospital. It wasn't just my department, it was a hospital, doctors, people all over that did that, and it was just amazing. Purpose to what I do every day. Probably something that comes to my mind is many years ago, probably 8 or 9 years ago, I was here and I was working up on the 6th floor. I had this patient that was extremely obese, that was bedbound. One day I had a little extra time, and so I got a special wheelchair to come down that we brought up, and I told her, I said, we're gonna try to get you in a wheelchair. So that was about a 2-hour process, but we did it. And so I said, now we're gonna go outside. So we came downstairs, this building right here, and as soon as I wheeled her outside, she started crying. And so I asked her, you know, what's wrong? And she said this is the first time in 6 years that she's been outside, other than ambulance rides. So I think about that all the time. I kept in contact with her over the years. I think it comes to my mind so much because who would have thought that just taking her outside would make that big of an impact on her life, and it did, and it's something I'll never forget.